Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode number 76. My name is Craig Perales, and that is Andrew Montemayor, and this is the first official show come 2021.
I wish I could say new year, new me, but I feel like I'm just the same fat loser I was last year.
If anyone was, because we had some questions about, where was the other show, why wasn't it earlier? We did take a week off, and I gotta say, it did feel kind of good to sit back, relax for a week, come up with some new ideas, because we do have some new stuff coming, and just kind of enjoy life for a week, and without having to come over here every Thursday and get out of your way to do it.
Yeah, it was kind of nice just to sit there and actually be able to be like, okay, let's hang out. We don't have to record anything, but let's try and do this, and this for this year. Kind of set a few goals for the show. So
yeah, so we are moving forward, guys. Episode 76. We're gonna be moving on from here on out, but as per usual, we've got a beer to drink, and this is something that Andrew picked out on the way over here, and I hope we're pronouncing this right, but it looks like Hoegaarden, and this is a beer brewed in Belgium, and it sits at a 4.9%, and it's saying that it's got coriander and orange peel mixed in this bad boy. Did you take a good sip yet?
No,
because I polished one off beforehand, and I gotta say, it's definitely a cloudy with a chance of meatball type beer, but overall, it's pretty tasty stuff. I like most German beers, though, so that may just be me talking.
A real Bavarian brew. No, I think it's definitely pretty good. I wouldn't get it at a bar, but if I went to one of those German house places where they serve authentic German food and shit like that, I would definitely get this.
Like a nice draft house. Go ahead and pick it up.
Yeah, what's that place in Vegas or whatever?
Tap House Brews? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. They have the big fucking
the Heffenweisen? Or the what is that place where they smack you with the paddle?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
If you know, leave us a comment. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, on top of my head, I'm trying to blank. Do you know what would be grilling me right now?
For all I know, it may be called the Hoegaarden.
Yeah. So, if you have a drink along with us. We like to sip suds around this place. But, guys, let us move into just plugs real quick. If you guys are looking to follow us on social media, we got our Facebook page at LastCall. I believe the backslash is just LastCall928. Twitter, LastCall PureODZ. Instagram at LastCall Productions. We do posts on there generally every day about news that's happening and things like that. And if you're interested in just the audio version of the podcast, check this out on Apple iTunes, Spotify, and Castbox.
Also, make sure you check out our Facebook group too, because it's just Last Call Gaming, and there's tons of people in there, not just us two. I mean, we try to interact with everyone as much as possible, but nerd out with everybody else. And lots of times too, they'll drop cool little tidbits and maybe stuff we don't cover. It's kind of a place for everybody. So
I've been seeing a lot of comic book talk there lately.
Yeah, a ton of comic book talk.
So if you like the comic books, check it out. So let's move into our news story today, and it's kind of broken into 3 segments, but essentially it's all kind of based on one thing, and that is the fact that Lucasfilm Games label is returning. Now, if this symbol looks familiar to you, then it is, because this was founded back in 1982 and through 1990, and this was the stamp on all of the games moving forward that Lucasfilm did. But they actually go a little further back. Back when George Lucas was getting into the industry with this, he did Lucasfilm Computer Division, which was in 1979, and it had 2 different departments. One was computer games, the other one was graphics. And your fun fact for the day is the graphics division actually went on to become Pixar. So they're moving in the right direction. But in 1990, Lucasfilm's games actually was renamed LucasArts Entertainment Company, and that is what they've kind of been doing ever since then.
Do you remember that logo?
I do. Well, we have the Lucasfilm Games as our thing. You talking about the entertainment one or the games?
The LucasArts.
Is that the one with the guy?
The guy like that, and you would throw it and then catch it. And
I remember, I think it was Force Unleashed. He gets those, or maybe it's any of the Star Wars games, but he throws it, and then he catches it
and it goes back in position.
I remember the logo. And so they're kind of launching it, and Lucasfilm Games moving forward is the official identity of all Star Wars games moving forward. So they're still entertainment company, but now they're restamping it as Lucasfilm Games. And now this might not sound like big news, but the reason it's kind of standing out is because back in 2013, they signed an exclusive agreement with EA, which is Electronic Arts, and a crazy 10-year deal to where EA was going to be the only, developer / publisher able to work on Star Wars games. And they had guys underneath them like BioWare and stuff doing things, but EA essentially was going to be the main people developing it. So if 2013 is when it started, 2023, which is now a couple years away, the contract is ending, and it was up to them whether or not they want to renew it or look elsewhere. And it turns out that they are actively looking elsewhere, because two other big pieces of news dropped within this week, and that is that Ubisoft is looking at developing a game, and Bethesda is already in talks with a small trailer of showing a game. So, Andrew, we've seen now the rule of EA having 10 years of Star Wars games. I think we've said this on past episodes. We've been waiting for new blood to get in this and pump new life into it, because EA, as well as good games as they did, there's just too much story there to be held under one company. We need other things doing it, and Ubisoft and Bethesda, ZeniMax are the perfect things, I think, to take the reins.
Yeah, I think if anything, actually, I think EA squandered that opportunity, and the only real gem they kind of squeezed out was Fallen Order, which just came out end of 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
So it was kind of too late to wait for a good Star Wars game. And again, I agree. I think it's the same. And again, I'm not going to make the argument. Something like Spider-Man, if it was I don't know, I can't think. The Fantastic Four aren't popular. If you took them out of not being popular and then you made them popular, then I could see making that IP be only for one thing. That's why I kind of don't agree with Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's always super popular, but Star Wars is also something that is always popular, so I don't think it should be locked to one person. But one of our other things, again, why I bring that up is because something else I don't think is very popular anymore, but so I could see why that might be exclusive as it is. But I'm super excited because, again, they haven't really given me what I've wanted. I loved Fallen Order, but how long do I have to wait for another good Star Wars game? I didn't really care for Squadrons. That wasn't really what I was asking for. What happened to good things like Knights of the Old Republic or anything along those lines? Even fucking Force Unleashed. I thought Force Unleashed was good for what it was. It definitely could have been better. And then they even canceled Star Wars 1313. That was kind of the biggest blow, because that was the first time we were like, okay, we kind of see promise coming from this. And I actually, looking at it now too, that's got a lot more Mandalorian vibes, and the Mandalorian's bigger than ever. That's arguably bigger than the last three movies and done more for the franchise. That I think maybe that's what 1313 could have been had it not been whatever the hell happened.
Yeah, lost in their cold folklore. Because EA, there was a and more than just 1313. I believe there's a couple of projects that Star Wars, and developer EA was looking to do, and how many things got scrapped. And so I want to read this one little quote that EA came to say, and that is, we are proud of our long-standing collaboration with Lucasfilm Games, which will continue for years to come, EA said in a statement. Our talented teams have created some of the most successful games in the history of the Star Wars franchise, including Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and Star Wars Squadrons. We love Star Wars and are looking forward to creating more exciting experience for players to enjoy. So that's off the IGN board if you guys want to read the rest of that article. But I'm reading that thing, I'm going, well, who the fuck else had a chance to do a thing? And you're reading almost all those games have came out in the last 4 years. And you had 10 years. So you're going to do Battlefront, which was hit or miss with a lot of people. Fallen Order, which came out 2019. Galaxy Heroes, I think, is a card mobile game or something like that. And Squadrons, which just came out as well. So it's like, oh, we've made some of the best in the franchise. Well, no, duh. You're the only one that's fucking made it for a decade. So I think a lot of people agree with me, is I'm glad EA is kind of done. If you're going to give me more Fallen Order, then yes, do it, because that game came out. It was really good. And I haven't played Squadrons. I know it's on the EA Pass that you can kind of play the trial for it. A lot of people are starting to like it. And if you're going to keep moving that direction, then good. But if you're going to start getting things like Ubisoft jumping in there and making a new game, then I'm all for it. And especially Bethesda doing a new game. So now that we're kind of past what EA's done with, because EA will continue, essentially the new thing is that they're not restricting it to just EA anymore. That contract is done. So now moving forward, a bunch of people are going to have time to make games. And if Ubisoft's going to be the one to do it, they've announced what they're going to be making an open world, story-driven game. And that sounds awesome, because if you're looking at Ubisoft, who are the guys that make your Assassin's Creed, they know how to do big open world games. The only hiccup is, because EA's contract is still in effect, till 2023, I'd imagine that we wouldn't see anything until 2024, maybe 2025. And the only good news I can see coming out of that through EA is that they're going to make sure the last one they pump out, which I'm assuming is going to be a Jedi Fallen Order 2, is going to be the shit. You know, you got 2 more years because that game came out in 2019. You got up until 2023 to make one more good game to be like, we're the guys that still make the best Star Wars game, which probably is not going to be the story for long.
I'm kind of stoked for that open world game. I don't need something that's got... It's such a rich universe that I don't need something that furthers the Star Wars story like what Fallen Order did, where it's just a single person. I'd like to just be this person in this big world, and I'd be down for that, because it says the team that's going to be working on it is the people who made the Division 2, and as you know, that's like a Destiny-type game, a looter shooter, where the story is there, but it's kind of more just about this world, the environment, the weapons, everything you're doing. And that'd be cool whether you're doing a Jedi or if you're a big fucking like bounty hunter thing. Like that would be cool as fuck. Something like that where you could be, you're just all these bounty hunters competing against each other if you're into that PvP, or there's just that continued story where you're kind of doing whatever, whether it's for like good, like whatever. Either way, I'm open to the idea, and I'm hyped for that because there is room for both to exist.
Yeah, and I wanted to pull this up because I thought I had it in my notes, but I don't think I do, because it's done by Julian Guerretti, if I'm saying her name right. Well, yeah, which is the Division 2 creative director. And yeah, Division 2 did something special. It kept it moving along in a way that kept like new people like me and my brother like liking that game. And if I would think if they were to move Star Wars in that way, I would hope it would be kind of more bounty hunter, scoundrel type kind of game than always falling back on the Jedi, because we need games that kind of show off the shooters, the guards, the scoundrels, the things like that. Or
even a runner like Han Solo or something like that. Yeah, so, like choose to be just some person in this universe that isn't having a fucking butterfly footprint effect where, you do this thing, so now it sets off this chain of events that you're fighting fucking the Emperor.
Yeah, because it is really cool that they're going to be doing that. The only thing is, because this news just dropped, they're, I believe, right now hiring for that team to start making this game. The plan's set. They know what they're doing, but they're now in the process. So, and they've got 2 years to, before they need to, I would probably say, show something, right? As soon as that 2023 is done, we'll probably get a trailer for the next one. Because
I'm sure they probably already have something in development.
I'm sure they have I'm sure they have the outline. And if you're bringing, Division 2 team, my guess would be kind of more something along the lines of that, trying to be what Battlefront should have been, instead of being this kind of bogged down microtransaction game that kind of showed some shooting that I think they threw Jedi in every now and again. I think you beat number 2. If it was more kind of Division based like that, and you're running around building a team or a squadron, I'd be super, super excited for that.
Yeah, that'd be a lot cooler too. I mean, again, because it lends itself to that world, I could be whatever. You could be the runner. You could be
and you can set it in any time frame.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And so even though that is just starting, and we have something now to look forward to. Now we have a time frame. We do have another game that's coming out, because now Bethesda is making an Indiana Jones game. Now this is done by being developed by Machine Games, which Machine Games are the guys that have pretty much reinvented Wolfenstein the way we know and love it now, which you and I both, I think, agree that game has moved forward in a really good direction. And it's now being executive produced by Todd Howard of Bethesda Game Studio. And if you're not familiar with Todd, he's been on the lead development and like pretty much the creative director. He was a big influence on Elder Scrolls Skyrim and Fallout 4. So if you've got now this talent moving forward towards an Indiana Jones game, because now they're showing they are going to be doing more than just Star Wars. I love the Machine Games is great. Todd, awesome. I'm just nervous that Indiana Jones, I think me and you were talking about earlier, is that the game you start with being the first thing you do that's not a Star Wars property? Why not make something A, original, or B, maybe something, I don't know, not Indiana Jones that's already locked behind movies and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's kind of my thing, is I don't think Indiana Jones is kind of like really a big draw anymore, and I think Uncharted has more taken that territory. So I mean, that would be the bigger thing too, is this game going to be exclusive, because it's going to be Bethesda made. And that's kind of what I was talking earlier, is Indiana Jones isn't popular, so if they took this game, made it, and it was an Xbox exclusive, I think that would be fine for that IP to be there, because they have reinvented that IP and now put it kind of back on the map. But of all the things you could do, like, oh, hey, we have a PlayStation, we got Uncharted, we got Spider-Man, we got all this different shit we can do. Let's make Indiana Jones. He's not cool anymore.
We got the Jones, brother.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
So I'm not like really hyped for it because I don't know what you could really do with that game that Uncharted hasn't really done. Because I feel like
switch it to the first person, maybe
different timelines, but I mean those two games kind of. It's a guy going and looking for treasure and looting and doing these things that comes against people who are also doing the same thing for maybe not the right reason. And I think Indiana Jones is a little bit more... I haven't played Uncharted, but I don't know how, like aliens or fucking weird shit it has in it.
Oh, no, yeah. It's, well, there's
like
a lot
paranormal.
Of lore. I would say it's a lot less more paranormal than, like, Tomb Raider's been, right? Because when you play Tomb Raider, you actually run into some spirits and stuff
again,
like that.
That'd be another game that does exactly what I would want an Indiana Jones to do, would be Tomb Raider. So
I would think so, yeah. And I'm curious if they make it first person or not, because one of the things that were off Bethesda and their kind of headline article was, today Lucasfilm Games and Bethesda Softworks announced a new Indiana Jones game being developed by the award-winning studio Machine Games and executive produced by game industry icon Todd Howard of Bethesda Game Studios. The standalone adventure starring the legendary archaeologist will tell a wholly original tale set at the height of the career of the famed adventurer. So if it's at the height, then I'm assuming that means he's
within
probably
he's
in his prime.
Yeah.
And an original tale means, so we're not recreating any of the movies or anything like that. So do you get, does Han Solo himself come back and voice the character? Do we make him a certain age? Now, does it have to fit between certain timelines? Because if it does, then aren't we talking Nazi era? Aren't we talking,
that Soviet race for stuff too?
Yeah, the cool thing about Tomb Raider is they reinvented it modern day. She exists in 2020. If you're going to be making him in the height of his career, then we have to be talking about a certain time frame, which is going to be in that particular era. But I have faith in Machine Games, and is this the game I want Machine Games to be doing, coming off of things like Wolfenstein? No, but if you had to pick a team to make Indiana Jones badass and do something original with it, then who better to do it than the guys that remade Wolfenstein, fresh in our head as Nazi killing,
I hope they literally just take like BJ Blazkowicz and they just change his name to Indiana Jones, but it's the same fucking guy, all ripped and shredded.
Indy Oskowitz.
Indy Oskowitz. That would be the other weird thing too, is how do you go from like this over the top, gory, like shooting, dual wielding, just straight fucking shoot him up, to a guy that doesn't actually really use guns. I think he uses a gun like once.
Yeah, I think he shoots. I mean, he's always throwing pistols around. And here's the other thing: how many more Nazi era games do we need? We've been seeing as far back as like Call of Duties, and I want to say maybe one of the two Medal Honors.
I can go for a story heavy one that's not like, okay, well, we're kind of gonna just play through the fucking archipelago of what the fuck ever, and then now you're in the Eastern Front versus, okay, this is a story that's more about like espionage and whatever, kind of like what.
Oh, I would like that.
Like I've never seen I've seen like parts of the other Indiana Jones. I think I've only seen like Temple of Doom, but the only one that stands out in my mind that I've seen front to back, and I know people hate it, I think it's a cool movie,
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull, but again, that's in like Nevada, and then it's got like the Soviets, and then you're in like a jungle, but it's not like this all out crazy over the top action thing, even though there is lots of action. It's more like espionage and kind of like people flipping sides on who's on what side and whatever and stuff like that, like James Bond type shit. And that's kind of more what I think of when I think of Indiana Jones versus like fucking I'm wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, I really like the concept of it if it's going to be reinvented correctly. Like there's something there. Is that the first thing I would want to see? No, but it could be just like the reinvented of Tomb Raider. It gave us something that we weren't expecting, and we all ended up falling in love with it. I am kind of liking more and more of the idea of it leaning towards maybe not so much maybe the supernatural, but the paranormal and things like that, of collecting these artifacts, and it triggers something. I can see this game being heavily like puzzles and things like that. So that is happening. There's actually a small little teaser trailer out, and it kind of shows off everything. It shows Machine Games, it shows the Lucasfilm Games logo, and it shows Bethesda. And I think it is kind of interesting that out of all the Bethesda games, ZeniMax just got purchased by Microsoft, and we're not hearing about this till today. And I would assume maybe at this point Microsoft now maybe fully owns ZeniMax, and now we're getting the trailer for that game. Because if it's not, and that game was already in production, then shouldn't we have seen it prior to the announcement of them buying the game. That way we would have been like, oh, multi-platform.
But
if we're hearing it after the news of them buying it, then maybe this is going to be an exclusive, or it's going to be playing by what they said of kind of like case by case.
That's the thing too. Is like if I was Sony, for how short that teaser is, you could have made that forever ago. I would have wanted that out last year, so that way people are like, okay, don't get confused. Like it's gonna be on our whatever too. But the fact that it's not and it's coming out now, that kind of leads me to think that it could be exclusive.
I'm almost curious if in that contract with EA in that 10 years, maybe X amount of years said you can't talk about any other games that aren't coming out specifically from us up until said day, because we're getting both of this in the same week. So maybe somewhere in the contract, now that it's almost at its tail end, now Xbox or Lucas can start talking about more of these games at a certain time, because we're hearing about 2 new things in the same week, and or it's just more hype on ZeniMax Bethesda.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? If anything, I'll try it. I'm down to at least try it, but I'm not hype about it.
So guys, that is the news for the week. 3 kind of things rolled into one big juicy Lucasfilm game snowball. Any comments, leave them down below. Anything you guys want to talk about, leave it down below. Let us get into it. A lot of exciting stuff, especially moving forward with Xbox and the ZeniMax partnership. So Andrew, let's move into a little riffing it up. And my first riff is going to be that the Pokemon Company and Nintendo have announced a release date for the new Pokemon Snap. A game we saw a little while back. Everyone was on the tip of their toes waiting for it. And Nintendo's kind of notorious for doing this. As soon as the game's ready to come out, they don't put anything out like a date that may or may not get pushed back.
Like 4 months, yeah.
It's usually like a month, 2-3 months of when it's coming. And this game is set to come out on April 30th. And they've said that it's going to take place in the Lental region. Now, let's see. So they put out this thing saying, explore the natural wonders of the Lental region and uncover the mystery behind the Illumina phenomenon in the new Pokemon Snap. Get ready to visit the many beautiful isles of the Lental region in the new Pokemon Snap game for the Nintendo Switch family of systems. Filled with the diverse ecosystems from dense jungles to vast deserts, the archipelago, I believe that's how it's said, of the region is an untouched natural marvel packed to the brim with Pokemon just waiting to be discovered. I look at this, and we love Pokemon Snap on N64 back in like 1999.
Yeah, I love that game.
It's about time we get one. And
that's a sequel that should have been made like 10 years ago.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap's a perfect game to do it, and the Switch is, I mean, with how Pokemon Go is going, I don't know how they're going to integrate, how maybe the Switch does something along with it. But yeah,
I will say is now the motion controllers, that should make it so much easier than fucking fiddling with like the joystick and the C buttons.
And I'm hoping, and I'd assume they would. This game has to be longer than 4 hours, because I'm pretty sure Pokemon Snap, you can cruise through in about 4 hours and it's done, maybe less. And so I really hope that this game is longer than that. I would hate to be able to buy this game for $60 and beat it in a day.
I would say at least like 7 minimum for me.
Or at least have free DLC or something like that.
Yeah, 7 with some free DLC. So my riff is actually also about Pokemon. So more stuff to be excited for is a website called Central Pokemon actually leaked today that Pokemon Pearl and Diamond remakes, they say remakes, but it could be remastered, something along that line, is going to be coming to the Switch. And that's also on top of the fact that the Pokemon Diamond, it's like diamond.pokemon.com or whatever it is that's usually along those domain names, actually just got registered and is live. There's like nothing on it, of course, because it's not up and ready to go, but the domain is registered. So either way, I never played those, that I would actually be stoked to jump into something like that, especially because now that they've experimented a little with the last 2, hopefully it is some sort of remake. But again, me and him were talking about it. I don't know why you wouldn't start with like gold or yellow or something like that.
Yeah, and one of the cool things is, so this was on their Twitter as of January 14th. This is, we can now confirm that Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl are coming this year to Nintendo Switch. So, I mean, I'd assume that, they are going to actually make it come out this year. I couldn't see, it is early in the year. I couldn't see that it would be pushed back any further. And yeah, exactly. Why start Diamond and Pearl? Why so late? Unless there was just unless it was just harder, or maybe who wants to play Red and Silver with so many upgrades that they did on Diamond and Pearl? Once you have the day and night system and all those things,
I think you could have gone in retroactively.
Gold and Silver would be the one I would want to start with, but I do remember playing Diamond and Pearl, and like, it was on the DS, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, more good Pokemon news. And speaking of Pokemon news, so you know what I've actually been doing lately? Is remember that toothbrush Pokemon app?
Oh yeah, I've been using it,
dude. It actually is a really good. I mean, your mouth feels nice, and clean after you're done, and at the end you can try catching Pokemon guys. So it's kind of fun. We talked about it a while back. Been doing that, and Gino and Denny and Deandra and I have been replaying Pokemon Go. And it's way more fun. Now you can do Team Rocket battles, and you can battle guys and do arenas and stuff. So
I've heard they added
Pokemon goodness all the way around. So with all that being said, let's move into a segment we used to say, what are you playing? We've changed it to, what are you up to? Because what game are you playing? What show are you watching? What trip you got planned? Andrew, what's happening in your life? Talk to me a little about it.
I'm actually playing AC Valhalla, and it's kind of not as great as I want it to be, but at least it runs fine. So I don't know. I have it on easy, so I'm just fucking cruising at this point, so I kind of don't care.
There's no achievement for hard.
Yeah, but it's definitely not as good as Origins or Odyssey story-wise. But on a better story note, I've actually been watching The Mandalorian lately. I know I'm like super fucking late to it or whatever.
No spoilers.
But I'm glad I started, and I'm almost done with it. I'm like halfway through season 2, and I'm loving it. And again, I think it's definitely something along the lines of what fucking Star Wars needed. And it just makes me mad because I'm one of those people. It's like, I don't get how everything outside the movies is better than the shit that costs the most fucking money to make. We were just watching some shorts like a minute ago that were leagues better than anything they've done in the fucking movie. So I don't get it. But
anything else?
Nah.
So I would have been playing.
Wait, yourself?
Me? Who, me? I?
Oh, actually, I lied.
Don't mean to interrupt. I thought you had one more thing.
I don't know what you were talking about, but I do have one more thing.
And
that's go check your local Target, because they actually are doing lots of like clearance sales and stuff like that.
I saw you post.
So my cousin, I checked ours, they didn't have it. But
right?
Skater XL was a game that I had talked about for a while. For those of you that are into skateboarding, we don't have too many games. This one's supposed to be good, but I felt it was overpriced at $40. My cousin texted me today, you can actually go pick it up for $11.99 at Target if it's on clearance at yours. Again, that's a store-by-store basis, but most of them usually have the same thing. So I had him pick up 2 copies, and mine's in the mail. So AJ, this shout-out's for you.
Nice. So what, ours doesn't have it?
No, ours didn't have it. They had a lot of other cool shit, though, that I might go back there, because they have like a big 50% off section.
Ooh, nice. So I've been playing, which is a little outside my wheelhouse because I don't play Call of Duties too often, is a lot more Black Ops Cold War. Now, if you've read our review about it on our Instagram, Andrew's mainly our FPS guy around here. Now, I know for you, it hasn't been the greatest, because you're basing it on playing a lot of the other Call of Duties. I haven't played a Call of Duty in a long, long time outside of campaigns. I've been jumping back in this with my brother, with Dante, with Denny, with our buddy Ray. I'm having a blast with it, and it's been a lot of fun. You've played a couple games with us, but I know you're more playing Modern Warfare and Warzone than you are Black Ops.
Right, and I enjoy it, and I like playing with friends in short bursts, and I did put that in the review. Like, if you haven't been hardcore Call of Duty and you're jumping back in, there's going to be stuff for you, and you're going to have fun. But for someone like me who plays Warzone every day, was playing Modern Warfare every single day, for me, it's a huge step back.
And I know a couple of our buddies were saying that too, like Chet. He's not a big fan of it either, but
yeah, for people who were actually playing like Warzone and the other stuff, like, you're gonna find that it's not really for you. You can have fun, but the most I'll spend on that's like an hour or 2, but never by myself. It's usually with someone else, like these guys or whatever. So
the other game I started jumping into, and I kind of forgot that it came out, was the Gear 5. I believe it's Hive Buster. I always want to say Hive Mind.
I heard it's good.
DLC is out, and it's free on the Game Pass if you have Game Pass Ultimate. So it's it's one of those. I think it's one of the first things where you got to have the higher tier membership to get it for free. If not, you got to pay for it. And I'm on chapter 2, and I'm following a Maka guide. So shout out to Maka. And it's great, man. It's one of the best looking things I've played on the Series X. And I'm looking it up. Like even like Ryan McCaffrey from IGN, and then we're saying like it's stunning to watch. So if you guys got the Series X and a nice TV, take advantage of it. It's, when I've been looking it up, it only runs about a couple of hours. So
is it normal Gears of War gameplay?
It's normal Gears of War gameplay, but with all new characters that aren't from the main storyline. I believe all the characters are characters you can play online.
Oh, nice. I check it out. I completely missed this. That I thought it was almost kind of like what was that? Fucking like the tactics. Space
Here's
game.
Tactics.
I thought
fucking
it was
awesome.
I thought it was like a part of that, and I was
no,
that's not really for me.
No, yeah, and I think a lot of people are thinking that it is DLC for Gears 5, but if this is kind of a standalone story for all these characters.
Oh, that's cool. I'll definitely get it.
Because you can play 3 characters, and you can have it with 3 buddies to play with you. It's Keegan.
Would have been nice to know.
Yeah, I'm playing solo, and I'm playing Keegan. I forget the other 2 names because I'm only playing him, but I want to go back and play with people because there's an achievement for doing things as a trio. So check that out. As far as things I'm watching, I finished Cobra Kai season 3. A series that has no right being as good as it is, and it's fantastic. And I watched the Selena show on Netflix, which it didn't get great reviews, but if you're a fan of the movie, like I am, I thought the show did a really good job showing kind of more of the family history than just what Selena went through. So that was pretty good stuff.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Now, let's move into video game questions of the week. Let me pull it up right here because I didn't have it pulled up. There we go. So this question comes from Sheila T, and she writes, hope you guys had a great year. Had a question a friend and I were talking about. Are video games addictive? Seems to always be an issue to people. Curious on your thoughts. And I think, I'll go first if you don't mind. I think anything that triggers dopamines in you, it can, I think, legally be considered addictive. Anything that gets a high out of you, whether it be a drug or something that you're playing, can be considered addictive. But I also would go further that it's anything that can pull like an emotional attachment, out of you, it can be addictive. And when you got people that are like MMO players, I think it's probably some of the bigger people that have this problem. If that's your friendship and your family and things that events that you do, then yeah, you're going to be addicted to it because what's holding you here doing anything? I don't know if the heart of your question is if it's dangerous, and I guess yeah, it is, but there's a difference between, I would say, people that are addicted to being online and playing games every second of the week versus people that play a lot of games but have no problem not playing a game for 2 weeks. And I think that's where they've kind of blended the type of players together. There's the girlfriend that comes home and her boyfriend, he's always on Call of Duty, he's always playing. But it's like, I wouldn't call that an addiction if, that's kind of what the heart of your question is. There are people that are seriously have to go to like cafes in Japan and stuff and are on for 20 hours and are hospitalized, and that margin is so small compared to the other 98% of people that play games, probably just more than your significant other or your friends or your parents would like you to. So I look at me and Andrew, we play a lot of video games, but there's days where we could go a month without playing it and I wouldn't have any like withdrawals. I mean, I might want to beat something, but I don't know if I would consider that an addiction. So I'm not exactly sure where your question lands on the spectrum, but if the basic question is it addictive, then yes, in serious cases there are people that are addicted to it. Does the mass audience that play more than 10 hours a week addicted? I would say no. But teach your own. I don't know.
No, I agree. I completely agree. Like, I think anything could be addictive. Like, soda's addictive. Like, TV's addictive. Any sort of thing that you can do in a massive amount. Fuck, for some people, like, driving's addictive. Like, they're going to places, always having to be doing the next thing. Fashion, shopping. There's anything that you can... no exception. Anything that you can do in an excessive amount can be addictive. Do I think that it's the worst thing in the world to be addicted to when it's that case? Like, he's talking about the people I know there's tons of people in other countries that have like cafes or even here where you're playing like 90 hours, bloodshot eyes, you're not sleeping for 3 days in a row. It can be. It's just the same as like anything else. But again, it's the same as anything else. I think alcohol, addictive. Making shows could be addictive to some people. We're perfectly fine taking whatever amount of break or whatever necessary. Like he was saying, there's days where I come home and I don't want to play. I don't look at my Xbox. I'm just kind of like, well, whatever. You go through a funk, week, month, 2, whatever. And even if I'm not playing, it's never that I have withdrawals like, I need to get on Xbox. I need to get my fix. I need to get whatever. It's the story is good. I want to see what's happening next with the story. So I would say it's not even more playing games. That could be the same thing with a TV show for me, where you're trying to go to bed. Oh, one more episode. Yeah, next, right there. Yeah, exactly. That's the same thing.
Watching even YouTube in excessive amounts.
Reading a book before you go to bed, and you're like, oh, it's getting really good. Just 10 more pages. Just 10 more pages. 10 more pages. I would say that's more what it would be like for me. Is I'm addicted to the story and knowing what's happening next. Versus I gotta have this thing in my hand doing whatever.
Yeah. So interesting question. Maybe elaborate a little on this video comment if you can, because I'm curious of where you and your friends' conversation was going outside of just is it addictive. So thank you for the question. We super appreciate it. So guys, the reason I know a lot of you are commenting down below is because we do a giveaway, and the giveaway that we've recently announced that Andrew and I are going to pay for you, buy for you, send to you, ship to you, let you play, is a 3-game giveaway. So the winner of this contest is going to be able to pick 3 games of their choice across the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch platforms. And as long as we can get it to you and nothing's region locked, we'll get it to you digitally or physically. So I'll throw up a picture right now of everyone that was going to make it, because we do it by episode, pick a winner of that episode, throw it into a hat, and pick an overall winner. So episode 74 was Snipes, Snipez. Episode 75 was Agent S. Episode 73 was Philip Gazer. Episode 72 was Goldeneye.
Love that name.
That's a good one. Episode 71 was Nelson. I thought it was Niguin. You said it was what?
It's probably like Winen or something.
Winen, so I'm sorry if we were saying it wrong. And episode 70 was Chew Doggy Dog. So I'm going to, let's see, I guess I'll bend them up and throw them in there. And I will hold the hat, and Mandrew will pick the name, and we will have our winner. And again, guys, thank you for leaving the comments and submitting it. Andrew and I love doing this stuff. We love giving back to our little community, because as small as we think it is steadily growing, and we can only appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we're super hyped about that.
I'm going to hold it high so Andrew can't peekaboos. And let's see who we got as our winner. And
Snipes from episode 74.
Snipes! Episode 74, brother. You're the winner. So, it is January 14th today. We will give you, let's say 2 weeks, right? So we'll give you to the end of January to get a hold of us, so we know what to get you and where to send it to. I think that's pretty generous, 2 weeks. If we do not hear from you by then, we're going to relaunch the contest, and we'll pick another winner. So, what are you giving your John Hancock?
Yeah, and I'm dating it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me put my little Signapoo on there.
I just think it's funny. So
how's the pen working?
It sucks, but I made it work.
I'm gonna put a little smiley face for you. So Snipes, you won, man! Congratulations. Get a hold of us, because we want to ship it to you sooner than later. So guys, that is the end of episode 76, our first episode in 2021, and much more to come. Andrew, any thoughts, ideas, comments you want to send to the kids?
Yeah, make sure, if you're not, again, always be subscribed. Help us grow.
Always be subscribing.
The more you help us grow, the more we can do more giveaway stuff. We actually already have our next one kind of planned out, but we're going to take a little break from giving stuff away, give the bank account a little bit of a rest. So probably start of February, maybe a little bit into February, you'll be hearing about whatever the next one is. But again, thank you, because none of this is possible without you. So whether it be a small crowd, big crowd, whatever, we would love to see more people. So, either way, forever grateful.
Forever grateful, guys. So until next week's episode, my name is Craig Paralis, and that is Mandrew Montemayor. Cheers.
Watch the Death Star blow up, and then it's like, okay, well, what do we do now that's fucking gone?
Wait till you see a little bit in Mandalorian. There's a little stuff based on that.
So, I like the idea of that. What happened in between that? This other people that's the exact same fucking people took power. Luke and all them just stopped and were like, all right, guys, hey, we're fucking done. Call it a day. Yeah. How did the Imperial or the New Order fucking like rise to power that it's just like, okay, now
with
they
no
have
mention of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like that's what blows my mind. Should we write our own movie?
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to do something.